Welcome back to Sapporo in Japan. One of the main sights to see in the city centre is the infamous clock tower. And as expected in Japan, lots of neon and bright lights displaying all of the attractions and advertisements, and lots of shopping malls and restaurants to be seen around the town, and sample all different cuisines on offer. We were live in the Sekisamu Gymnasium in Sapporo for draw 8 of the 2015 World Women's Curling Championship. And my name is Logan Gray, and alongside me, Richard Harding for this evening's draw between Canada and Russia. Canada 3-1, plays Russia on 4-0. We'll be bringing you live commentary and hopefully some informed guidance along the way. Canada have only dropped one game so far this week in a repeat of the 2014 Olympic final. They lost out to Sweden last evening. And Russia perfect so far this week on 4 wins and no losses. So the teams are all honoured throughout the week, and this time it's the turn of Scotland. So let's meet the teams. Canadian lead, Dawn McEwen. Second, Jill Officer. Third, Caitlin Laws. And of course the skip, Jennifer Jones, completes the Olympic champion lineup from 2014. And then the Russian team, Ekaterina Galkina, Alexandra Saitova, Margarita Fomina, and Anna Sidorova, of course, the skip. Naruka Ezek, the alternate, and Svetlana Kalab, the coach. So here's the standings. Russia, the only team undefeated so far this week. Switzerland up there on 4-1. And we see Norway and United States still to get off and running this week. A couple of surprises down there actually, Richard, and Scotland and Sweden, definitely two teams we would expect to be in the playoffs, but still with a lot of work to do to qualify. Elsewhere on the ice in draw 8, Denmark and Sweden going head to head, Norway and Scotland, and the host nation Japan up against Finland. Of course, 12 nations all competing for the title of world champion this week. And the players just making their final preparations before we get this 8th draw underway. So good evening, Richard. Welcome back.
Thanks, Logan. I think we're in for an interesting game tonight to see whether the Olympic champions from last year in Sochi can beat the definitely in-form Russian team. We will see.
Well, I would say that Canada have had the kind of the more tough start than Russia. Of course, Canada have already played against Sweden and Scotland. But Sweden and Scotland perhaps not at their best so far this week. Canada playing the red stones and wearing the red tops, and Russia playing the yellow stones and wearing the grey tops. Well, Dawn McEwen gets this game underway. I would say Canada actually haven't been too clever about picking up the last stone in the games, in the pre-game practices. Dawn McEwen seems to be leading most of the games off in the games we've covered so far this week. Of course, Dawn McEwen is the wife of international superstar curler Mike McEwen.
In fairness to Canada, in this particular instance, the Russian team covered the pot lid twice with their draws, so it's tough to beat that. And the Russians have been around for a few years now in pretty much the same format as they're playing here, with some success.
Nice come around there by Ekaterina Galkina. Feels like she's been around forever, but still only 26 years old. It's going to be an interesting matchup at lead, actually. Two very strong leads, and probably two that you'd expect to see at the top of the stats at the end of the week.
And the Russians last year getting bronze medals at the Women's World Championship in St. John, New Brunswick. Of course, this Canadian team were not in St. John.
No, and actually that was the first time that Russia has ever medalled at the World Women's Championship. So they were clearly thrilled about that. Well, Dawn McEwen just played the come around freeze there and got the weight absolutely spot on, but they just sat a quarter stone too high, so an opportunity for Russia to get one inside that and really turn the angles in their favour early on. Nice to see a good aggressive start to the game though. Well, that was quite a long way out, that one from Katie.
I think the middle will be heavy, Joey. I think it will come down. Yeah, I think it'll be quite a bit heavier.
So here's Jill Officer, the Canadian second player. She's had her troubles in the first few games, but in the last draw seemed to have overcome her crisis of confidence and played a very good game this morning. And makes a nice hit and roll here to get this evening game underway. Alexandra Saitova, the newest member of this team, 22 years old. And watch out for her big weight ability today. She can really throw the high hard one well. Well, nice soft weight takeout there. Gets to the nose, and look at the rules of play here for the round robin stages. 6 hens minimum to be played regardless of what the scoreline is, and 38 minutes thinking time for each team to complete their 10 ends, and during those 10 ends both teams will be entitled to 1 60-second timeout. So Richard, as we kind of approach the midway stage of the round robin, is there any teams that have particularly caught your eye so far this week? Any surprise packages perhaps?
Not particularly, I don't think. I think Russia playing strongly is not really unexpected. We'll see how Sweden get on. They only have 1 win from 4 starts, but that win was against Canada, so they certainly have what it takes on their day, but they've clocked up 3 losses so far, so they're already struggling to make the playoff stages at the end of the week.
Oh, here's a first look at Caitlin Laws, the Olympic champion 3rd player, 26 years old. Works as a sales rep.
Right off. Okay.
That was interesting. Oh, a strange shot, I would say, from Alexandra Saitova. She played a really nice head and roll in behind the guard, but didn't have the weight to actually get the stone out of the house. So that yellow stone in behind the guard, currently sitting in 3rd shot position.
Очень тонко надо попадать. Давай. И они останутся по двойной здесь. Давай.
Just a little bit in 2 minds about what shot to play here. What would you play, Logan, in this situation?
I quite like the shot they've called. Play the takeout on the shot stone and get into shot position here with Margareta Fomina's first stone of the game, 26-year-old, full-time curler, of course, as are all of her teammates. Yeah, they're going to play the takeout in this red stone, and then they kind of try and work their way over towards the other red stone to try and bring the other stone behind the guard into play and maybe generate a multiple score here in the first end.
If we roll, we could give them the triple. Okay. I don't mind just the nose. Okay. Same weight. Clean only. Off. Clean. Whoa, 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 whoa. Clean, clean, clean. Good. Nice throw, Caitlin. Great. Nice throw.
So, having learned from the last shot, Anna Sidorova giving slightly less ice in the hopes that she can get the draw on this stone and the roll behind the cover. Not far away this time.
Yeah, it just doesn't quite roll far enough, but have they covered the inside edge? I'm not too sure. I think Canada will be quite happy to hit and roll away from the stones in the house at the moment to try and spread their 2 red stones out to force the one here in the first end.
Probably not bad here now. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah.
So Jennifer Jones then, highly experienced Canadian skip from Winnipeg. Hoping to get the little roll inside here if she can get the direction outside, sorry, if she can get the direction perfectly well. She might have liked to have hit a little bit less of that and rolled further.
Yeah, absolutely, but probably good enough. It's easy to say, but if you roll maybe a stone and a half further, then you don't lie in shot position. So
exactly, that's the risk you take.
Yeah, definitely erred on the kind of professional side there and making sure to relay to.
but she does set up the chance of a hit and roll for Sidorova.
So here is Anna Sidorova, the 24-year-old, the face of Russian curling.
Well, the stones curling a bit more than they wanted, and it will roll out the back of the house. So Canada lying first shot again. Now without any Russian stone there, the opportunity to perhaps curl in behind to lie two.
Yeah, so Canada
make her make it.
Yeah.
just trying to work out what they're needing to do here. They're aware that there's a very simple takeout on the left-hand side of the sheet to remove the red shot stone and score two. So
This side will be.
Canada are going to need to try and get another one in there to lie second shot.
You need to be fully.
And their intention, of course, is to try to force the Russians to take a single point here. And then Jennifer Jones would have the last stone advantage in the second end.
Top four is perfect. Okay.
Need
Line's
fully.
good. It's all you. Room.
Line's good.
Room.
Line's good. Not moving yet.
Top four. Just a bite of the four. Go, really, go, go.
Yep. And just
Just looking for this one at the front of the tee line. They would love to get into shot position and make Russia move it to score. It just makes the shot that much more difficult to score. Now, just a little bit wider than they would have probably hoped there. So is this worth a shot at a triple takeout to score three, Richard? You're certainly looking at it.
I think it's a tough shot to go for.
Well, that red on the right-hand side is just slightly in front of the middle red, so I just wonder if they can actually make the angle here. I think it is just about there, and definitely worth a go. As long as they get that red stone in the middle out, the worst they can lose is one. So worth the early gamble here.
Well, I don't know if they get enough movement on the middle of these red stones to project the one on the pot lid out of the house. And played fairly big weight.
It's pretty close, I reckon, Richard. Oh, very close, but no cigar on this one. It's going to be a steal of one in here in the first end with that red stone on the button. And Canada taking an early lead, as they have done in all their games so far, and now leading Russia by 1-0.
So the second end of this game between Canada and Russia sees Canada start again, having taken a point at end number 1, and Don McEwen putting the stone in the house.
Yeah, absolutely, Richard, and Canada really picking up where they left off this morning. They had 6 steals this morning against China, so the undefeated China that was as well. So another steal on the board in this evening game. That stone from Don McEwen, not quite on the centre line, so Russia do have the chance to put a corner guard up. They won't be too concerned about that red stone in the 4-foot. I think quite often you would see the teams with the last stone throwing the corner guard to the same side as the stone in the house, just to keep a full half of the sheet open for the final stone to be drawn into the middle. But Russia not choosing to do that.
I don't want in. I'd like you to finish it though.
I don't think we can. It's fighting.
Perfect, Don. Perfect.
A good shot from Don McEwen, just finishing short of the rings. And of course that means that the Russians cannot take that stone out of play with this next shot.
Yes. 35, наверное, чтобы уж наверняка.
Nice shot there from Katerina Galkina.
Well, like you said yesterday, I think it was, Richard, the houses do seem to be quite holding that stone did hit with a little bit of pace there, and it wasn't even quite enough to get it through the house. So maybe as the game goes on, the ice will start to speed up. We've generally seen the first 2 ends have been quite slow until we get some play going in each direction.
Clean, just easy, clean. Go close. Whoa, go a little bit. Go. Good try, Julie.
Another nice hit and roll there from Jill Officer. Really seems to be getting her eye in now.
Авес. 0. Просто такой двойной рулл. 0. Может, какой-то нормальный термин.
Perhaps those couple of falls that she had last night returned her to her normal being.
Сви. До конца. Держать здесь очень надо, очень надо. Сви. Да. Воу.
Well, caused a little bit of damage.
What do you think, Don? Tempting to come the other way, but
Jack Barry's good. This way?
I think so.
Alexandra Saitova, second player for Russia. Now we come to Jill Officer once more.
Line's good. You got room. Stay close. Coming down a little. You got room still. 4 foot. Just bite the 4. Not
Trying to
deeper.
get in
Not
between
deeper
these
than
two
bite the 4.
guards belonging to Russia.
Yep.
Come round the front one and lie first shot.
Good. You're good.
First and
Perfect.
second shot.
Atta girl.
Yeah, terrific draw there. And
Held on until about
Russia are going to have to run the guard back here. Here's Roger Schmidt, the Russian national women's coach. so much experience on the bench there. Well, not huge weight being thrown here from Saitova. She could try and hit this straight back onto the one on the center line, or even the one on the other side. And you know what? That's not bad either. Great shot there by Saitova. There's Roger's opposite number, Wendy Morgan, the Canadian team coach.
So come to Caitlin Laws, third player for Canada. Again, just playing a more controlled takeout. I beg your pardon, draw.
Stone's really rearing up when they get to the house though, Richard.
Slowed up really quickly, that one. No question about that. Just behind the tee line. Pretty much on the button, but just following this one down, tapping it back a fraction to lie first shot. That's the aim. At the moment, a little bit wide. And is it going to draw far enough? Well, not really. Ooh.
Well, one thing you'll see about the Russian stones is that they do tend to rotate a lot more than the Canadian ones. They all throw a lot of spin, and of course, if the stone's spinning, it's not grabbing the ice and curling. So they will need to take a bit less ice than the Canadian team. So especially when they're following and playing the same shot, they will need to bring the brush in a little bit to get this, the desired result.
Swooping like mad to hold the line, try to get past the front Russian guard, but they will hit the guard.
Well, it's just a disastrous shot there.
Take it into the house to lie third shot. Poor run from Caitlin Laws.
Yeah, that really wasn't even close. That's really overcurled by a full stone to make that possible, and they've even pushed that yellow stone behind the corner guard into third shot position.
Just out counting the Canadian stone at the back. So a chance here for Russia to lie three.
Well, doesn't manage to get the separation on the two yellow stones, but Russia's still in good shape here in the second end. Let's try and get the first deuce of the game on the board.
Makes it. Even if we just make this and we miss that double.
Well, if we make this, I think we'll get in the double.
Yeah. I think that's a better result. Solid. Okay. Firm.
Who the fuck?
So the big weight here from Canada.
Well, has she got anything here? She has.
Well, great shot really in tough circumstances for Jennifer Jones. She will take the two stones out. And the shooter as well. But Russia still lie one here, and they do have last stone advantage here in the second end.
Yeah, she really launched that one from the hip, and it takes a lot of practice to be able to do that accurately.
смотри, я возила по чуть-чуть, не раскатанные вот там. Чуть шире стали. 76 был до Ти. Что там было? 4 фута. Давай 89 хотя бы. Нормально будет. Короче, и говорите, как валит, да, это очень важно.
So Anna Sidorova
86.
going for the draw shot to lie 2 for Russia. Just hoping to bring it in behind the corner guard there. That one seemed to slow really quickly.
Well, Richard, it was a completely fresh path that they just threw. And I think the supers have just done enough to get it there to lie 2.
Just have to move it a hair.
Great brush there by Kalkina and Saitova.
What else do we do? We could hit and roll, but
Well, I think if you're hitting half, you're probably coming here anyway.
Yeah.
So.
14.6. That went further than I thought it would.
Well, I heard the super saying 14.6 there,
Yep.
which would be a hog-to-hog split time. And I tell you, in the other draws, that sort of time would be reaching the T line when the speeds up to, when the ice is up to speed. That stone was brushed from hand all the way down there as well, and only got to the top of the 8 foot. So the ice potentially about 10 feet slower than it has been.
Well, struggling a little bit to control the ice. The sun was out this afternoon, and this roof on this building has no insulation in it. It's just a double skin, so when the sun comes out, it heats the building up quite a bit. And for a time, there was a big struggle to hold the ice at the right temperature because of it. Well, this one looks a bit tight. Oh, she just gets past and rolls into shot position.
Well, it doesn't manage to move the other yellow,
sorry,
but
guys. It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
does Anna Sidorova actually have to
get
roll here to get shots? She has to move that red to lie 1, but does she actually have to roll to get into the 8 foot circle to out-count the one in the left-hand side of the house? I'm not sure.
I think she does. If she hits it right on the nose, she may well only be lying 1.
She didn't really seem to spend too much time looking at it there, Richard, so hopefully they have it all under control.
Well, she's certainly going to roll, but is she going to stay in the house?
No. She certainly won't score 2 anyway. Just kind of lost that one. Ice does seem to be a bit frostier this evening, and that one grabbed really early. So just the 1 in an end that could have potentially been as many as 3 at one stage for Russia. And after 2 ends, it's a tie game. Canada 1, Russia 1.
Мне надо было подтвердить.
Third end underway and 1 point each. Russia scoring there in the second end. Just the one, a great chance to score the deuce, but the ice conditions proving a little bit of a challenge for both teams at the moment. May just find that it'll take a little bit longer to get the ice conditions that we've been expecting throughout the week due to this extra heat, as you mentioned, Richard.
Well, I think it's quite difficult to control because once the sun goes away and it gets dark, cools down again, the building gets colder, and it's a job for the ice makers to have to watch very carefully what the ice is doing and make adjustments as required.
Oh, that was an interesting shot, Richard. Dig shot called early on. It's not really too many teams that would have played that at this stage in the game. I know it's a tactic that Rachel Holman and her team like to employ, but nicely done there by Don McEwen. Of course, takes that guard off the center line and opens up the center of play, and they can start to really try and use that hammer and get two on the board here in the third. Well, over on sheet A, Sweden 3 losses this week, only one coming against Canada of all teams, and Denmark also got their first win today against Switzerland, who are currently on 4 wins and 1 loss. Maria Prutt's been a little bit out of sorts so far. Could have potentially scored 2 there, but still gets a score on the board, and after 2 ends, it's Denmark 1, Sweden 1.
Fury sweeping to get that stone round the guard. And they succeed.
Yeah, got the reward there.
Right into the 4-foot circle.
Sheet B, Norway and Scotland going head to head. Norway not having much fun so far this week. Really threw a game away this afternoon. And now trailing Scotland by 2-0. And has she managed to get 2? That's a terrific shot there by Kristin Skazlian. Puts 2 on the board and ties it up. 2 ends played there, and it's 2 each.
So Russia having a go at coming around this remaining Canadian stone to lie 2 guarded. Well, that's another fantastic shot.
Yeah,
It's perfect.
Well, Richard, considering the ice conditions aren't exactly what the teams were expecting, they're really getting their stones in some good spots. I think Russia really forced into trying to play that freeze on their own stone, with the first one just being a little bit too far. If they did throw a double center, then You may well have seen Canada go for the come around, but they're now forced to play the run back.
Yeah! Go! Roll it, Caitlin, roll it. Roll it. Okay, good.
Well, quite a nifty little shot, that one, to roll the shooter into the house. That really forces Russia to make a takeout instead of throwing a guard.
And the raise exposes the remaining Russian stone on the 4-foot circle. And hitting without the roll. Well, she gets the roll absolutely perfectly to cover the #1 shot, at least in part.
That was my first thought.
That was a great shot.
No, you can throw it.
Seeing some accurate play. Well, is that one in, Logan, or not? I think it is.
Yeah, I would say so. Of course, this overhead is kind of near the centre of the rings. We can't be exactly sure, but from this angle and that stone, I think we can be pretty certain that one's in.
Caitlin Laws going for the raised takeout. Trying to get them both.
Sorry, Caitlin. My
So
fault.
she jams it. And I don't know whether her shooter went into the house or not. Watch this as the stones jam, leaving the Russian counter in the middle, and her own shot did not roll into the front of the house. So advantage back to Russia here.
I think Russia are just a little bit concerned about that red stone. They don't want that to end up being splittable or a good stone for Canada to be tapping up to set up the deuce. They could throw a guard on their yellow stone here, but will that give Canada the chance to play around that red? I'm not sure.
Well, as they say, sometimes the best guard is another stone in the house. And I think this could be a case for that.
I'm sure that phrase could be a little bit more poetic, Richard. Well, there's a good look at the rotation I spoke about earlier. Margarita Fomina probably throwing the most in the whole competition. Certainly didn't do that in your day, Richard. You would get zero curl whatsoever if you threw the stone like that then.
Well, she's played a great shot, just a fraction more weight than she wanted, I think. Would prefer to have lied in front of the tee line. Sweeping hard to get past this guard. Just look how much curl's on that stone. My goodness. And it goes right round the shot of Canada's and a bit more, lying just behind the tee line. So Jennifer Jones asking Caitlin Laws to follow that one into the house.
I'm pretty good. Go then. I'm good.
And they're having to brush this hard to keep it going.
Well, they've got a good line. Have they got the weight here? No, and just with it being a little bit short of speed, the curls a little bit earlier and clicks the top guard.
Well, there's a huge curl there from, as we look at it with the overhead from right to left, it curls really a lot. And of course, with a fraction less weight, it just touched the front red stone of Canada. So remember, Canada do have the last stone advantage here. But at this point, they're going to need to use that. So first shot for Anna Sidorova in this third end. First of the skip stones.
Yeah, line two, but choosing to remove this third stone. I don't like the position of it. It's very usable for Canada at the moment.
Needs to be careful not to jam it on her own, though. Well, she manages to thread it past her own counter.
Oh, absolutely, and they finished in the perfect spot. So, because I said the the Canadians can use that stone to tap up. Now it's very usable for Russia in that position. So
Try to
I
make
think
this one, I guess. We would stick for
we
second
may
at
see
least.
Canada just try and open this up to make sure they can score one. They'll have to hit that one just played by the Russians.
No, triple A.
Pardon? We make
Well,
that. She's
the
just
other
going
option's
here,
hitting
though.
the stone on
You
the
make the triple?
Oh, the triple, no. But
the left as
there.
we look at it, on the right there,
Okay.
the one on the right, and roll in behind.
guess we can come off the back end of this too. We might go to
But
there.
not looking
I just want to make sure we at least make a double.
Yeah.
to do that, hoping to
I
just
think that's probably just as easy
reduce
as this
the
one.
number
This
of
one I'm afraid if I nut
Russian
it there,
counters.
Yeah.
and then they go there, I've got
Kind of
nothing.
facing a hard shot, yeah.
They'll certainly need to open this up to be able to score. You play the whole end when you do have the last stone, trying to score 2 or more, but sometimes there comes a stage where you abandon that plan and just have to limit the damage and make sure you can get a score on the board.
Firm.
So Jennifer Jones
Whoa, 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 whoa.
really putting the weight on this.
Whoa. Yeah,
Pretty close. She going to get 2 away?
roll it.
No, she's not.
No, she hasn't, Richard, and she's got a problem now, that's for sure. That red stone blocking the way into the forefoot. Really missing on the wrong side there. If they'd hit that half stone and rolled away, they'd open a path up to the button, but now they've rolled right into that path. And really a glorious chance here for Russia to get steal on the board now.
Я боюсь, что может там нахвататься и брать. Я лучше подкручу.
It's difficult for them to really improve the situation here. There's 2 taps available for the Canadians. Those 2 red stones at the front of the house can both be raised in, so it's quite difficult to cover both of those shots.
У меня вот 8 была, да, тогда? 6. Это был снор. Это у тебя было, ну, тела из таких насыпан. Намного было тиза даже. 95-9. 95-0.
So Anna Sidorova, her last stone in this
0.
third end. Russia currently lying 2. Just trying to tap the counter she's got up and lie 3. She's got a great looking line on it. Well, look how little that second shot moved when she tapped it. It fudged into the ice. She would rather have a little bit more space between these 2 stones.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that call, Richard. I think it was difficult to really get a stone closer to the button without opening up an opportunity for Canada to play a hit and roll in. So,
Well, yeah. One stone remaining now in this end, belonging to Jennifer Jones. And she's facing 3. The tap up on her own red looks like the best option to me anyway.
What do you think? Runs fairly straight, I think. with
yeah, it
the
looks like their only
Yeah, I
option to me, and maybe a little bit of concern on the Canadian bench there.
You got her, Jen.
If we're going to review the end, Richard, we have to go back to Alexandra Saitova's 2 draws to really set this end up for Russia.
Try to make the
Played
double.
one right down onto the tee line and then
And only give up
froze one right on the face of it too,
like.
and forced a couple of misses from the Canadians. They're going to need a good one here though.
That's a tap, it's a full 4, so I think I need back 8. It looked like a lot of ice.
No, I think it looks good.
A little bit more
vital shot for Jennifer Jones.
Yes!
She has to get the right line on this and the right weight.
You gotta go!
No, they're pushing hard there for line. They've got the line now, and how's the weight? Oh, it's going to be a steal of 1, but is it 2? Great effort there by Jennifer Jones. And let's not forget the sweepers too.
I think it's 2, Logan. Steal of 2 for Russia. And again, that stone slowing up very, very quickly in the house. It tapped the second shot, and the second shot didn't move much at all. Oh well, we're having a measure on this one.
I think I would place my bets on red in this one, Richard. Not that we're allowed to bet.
Well, we'll see in a moment, but first look at it, to me, looked yellow. We'll soon see though. Well, I didn't see the dial moving at all there, but perhaps it did.
Well, confirmed as red. So I think the Canadians will be quite happy with that final shot of the end. That could have been a lot worse. Super end by Russia, forcing the misses from Canada and getting the steal. 3 ends played here, and it's Russia 2, Canada 1. I think that was supposed to be in the house there from Kate Galkina, but a good tight centre guard all the same. And Dawn McEwen having a terrific week at lead, playing 88% through the first 4 games. Well, you don't want to leave a double centre here, that's for sure.
Okay, Dawn.
Yeah, it's not really what you want to do when you've not got the last stone. Sorry, when you do have the last stone, you don't want to clog up that centre of play with stones blocking the way in, as you saw in the last end for Canada. Well, we said it was going to be a good matchup at lead. two of the best in the business.
87.
Katerina Galkina playing 87 for the week. Just being pipped by Dawn McEwen so far.
Well, we could well be watching a preliminary game of the final, I think, with these two teams. Every possibility of that.
Our first look at the host nations game. Good crowd in this evening to support Ayumi Ogasawara and her troops doing battle with Finland. Japan 3-1. Off to a super start this week in Finland, holding their own on 2 wins and 2 losses. And here's the final stone of the third end, Sanna Pustinen. And this one's just a little bit short of weight, over curls onto that top one, and put a steal on the board for Japan. 3 ends played. Japan 2, Finland 1.
Well, another really good shot from Saitova. And Jennifer Jones electing to open up the front here. Not liking what she's seeing.
Well, Jill Officer's numbers for the week are coming up every single game. A couple of draws ago she was in the low 60s, but as I said earlier, started to find her feet this morning. And that being said, a bit of a mistake there. The setup play has just been that bit better from the Russians in the last couple of ends.
So again, Russia lying 2 in the house. Canada have a couple of short stones. And Sidorova asking Saitova to just come in and guard the Russian shot on the top of the 4-foot circle. And that stone there stopped incredibly quickly.
Yeah, really turned sharply too. Finishes in a pretty good spot though. I think they would have liked that a little bit further over to prevent this run on the red guard. They'd much prefer the Canadians were having to hit the yellow back onto the red.
Well, just catching this at the right angle is important. And she does. Great shot from Jill Officer there. The raise accurately executed. Now leaving Canada on the top of the 4-foot circle.
Yeah, Richard, that really was a super shot. It's a tough shot to stick it, never mind make a roll towards the center line to line shot position too. Fomina, 83% for the week. Doesn't manage to make the run back, but does open up the shot stone.
just play that.
Okay, then I like freezing the back. Back 8.
Hey, Caitlin. Yeah, back 8.
Okay. It's like lots of ways, but
I think that's good.
so we're right back to it.
Caitlin Law is only playing 73% so far this week, hasn't quite found her way. And it's really been a string of kind of mediocre performances so far this week. Not really at the standard we would expect her to operate as one of the top shot makers in World Women's Curling.
Faster.
Oh, sorry. I don't like
Okay,
that.
tough one, Kate.
I think they were just trying to freeze the back one there. I'm not too sure, but they've left a very straightforward takeout.
Well, great stone. 2 Canadian shots disappear, and Russia lie 2 again. But this time visible for Jennifer Jones to have a go at removing them both.
Whoa. No. Off still.
Just 10.
Okay, yep. Whoa. Yep.
Hard Jen. Good call. Shot.
Okay.
Well, she gets them.
Good, Caitlin.
Okay, Caitlin.
Маленький, да? И даже, наверное, тоже будет не так плохо.
Yeah, good shot that one.
Маленький лучше всё-таки
From
сделать,
Caitlin Laws.
она потом пробьет срок.
Back to sheet C. Here's Japan and Finland. Sanna Puustinen once again. Saw her come up a little bit shy with her draw in the previous end. And she's facing a whole bundle of red Japanese granite here in end 4. Oh, here's the top guard. And you won't see many luckier shots than that this week. That should have been a steal of 3.
Мне не нравится роль вообще, да. Она будет туда лезть.
And wow, what have you got to say about that one, Richard? Good skipping.
Well, I suppose when there's all these stones in play, there's always a chance of a little rub on one and off another one and roll in for shot. It's not the first time we've seen that, of course, but pretty fortunate for Finland in the circumstances, tying the game up at 2-2.
Well, if you can't be good, you better be lucky. And Finland were exceptionally lucky with that one. That could have easily been a steal of 3. But it's tie game after 4 ends. Japan 2, Finland 2.
Back in our game, Russia lie 1 shot again.
Think that's too much?
Close. Do you want a hair left?
Maybe a hair, yeah.
Three stones remaining. Jennifer Jones, 72%, a bit low for her.
No, absolutely, and we talked so much, Richard, about the kind of knock-on effect it can have when you have a player struggling in your team. Jill Officer hasn't been at her best in the first few games. Starting to play better now, but of course when you have one player playing badly, then the shots to follow, the difficulty level increases on them, and of course with the more difficult shots, you're going to expect more misses. Sheet A, Denmark and Sweden. Battle of the 2 games on 1 and 3. 2 very experienced teams. And teams that you'd expect to be challenging for the top 4 spots anyway. And here's Lena Nielsen. And this is not going to make contact. tries to pick that one out to blank the end, but ends up giving a steal. So after 4 ends, it's Denmark 2, Sweden 2.
So back to the feature game, Russia against Canada. And this is the last stone in the 4th end for Sidorova. Jennifer Jones holds the last stone advantage. Definitely a chance for her to pick up 2 here, depending on the result of this. And it looks short. Well, not so good for Sidorova. A free draw for 2 shots available for Jennifer Jones.
Yeah, just really needs to get fully into the 8 foot to get that extra point on the board.
Same in the spot.
Just taking a little bit more ice than the previous one, so Jennifer just checking with their sweepers that they expect the speed to be the same. And with the extra frosty conditions this evening, it is something that is quite a challenge, and the sweepers really need to keep on top of that.
Let it work if you can, but line's good.
Well, just to make sure they don't lose the shot, and that it then doesn't
Line's great, guys. Clean it if you're good. You're
cut across and hit the guard. So she's got a good line on this, just the weight important now, and it will be good and finish in the 4-foot circle for 2 points. Canada now going into the lead in this game. 3 shots to 2 after 4 ends played.
Faster there than where I threw my first one, I'd say. What'd you get?
Couple of Canadian fans in this evening, making the long trip here to Sapporo in Japan. We're inside the Tsukisamu Gymnasium, the host of the 1972 Olympic Games, the ice hockey games to be exact. And it's draw 8 here, Canada and Russia. Canada leading by 3 shots to 2 after a deuce in the 4th end. Nicely drawn by Jennifer Jones. Canada will go with top 4. And Russia quite content to just run this 5th end through. And I think this is maybe one of the differences you see just over the last 5 years. This is a North American strategy against a European strategy, really. European teams becoming much more aware of the scoreboard and what ends they're scoring in. So while Canada are quite happy just to keep the lead, the Russians are very much trying to blank this 5th end to take the hammer into the 6th, which would of course give them hammer in the 6th, the 8th and the 10th if scores were traded, which would give them the last one advantage 3 times against the Canadian teams 2 times. And from the Russians' perspective, that would hopefully make the difference and give them the win. The worth of the last one advantage, we generally would say it would be worth about 1.5 points. So here on sheet B, here's Christian Skaslin. We saw her play a super shot to score 2 in the 3rd end. Sorry, in the 2nd end. Scotland have since bounced back with a steal in the 3rd. And this one's going to over curl. And it's going to be another point on the board for Scotland. Now starting to move away from Norway once again, reopening up that 2-shot lead, and after 4 ends, it's Scotland 4, Norway 2. Alexandra Saitova hits and rolls out of play there.
Wait on the line's good. It's not there it goes.
Really curling. Really curling.
Really moving. Keep her going. Keep her going. Good brushing, guys. That's good.
Sweep. Sweep.
Good mistake.
More accurate takeout on that occasion from Alexandra Saitova. Let's say both teams quite happy to trade takeouts here. Slightly conflicting strategies, but there's no one set way to get the job done. Both teams seem quite happy for this end to be blanked, and at the end of the day, from a Canadian perspective, the final stone of the end does still need to be made by Russia for them to blank the end, you would think.
Yep, right out. That's fine, Caitlin. Nice throw.
Nice throw.
Well, Caitlin Laws hits and rolls out of the rings, and I think in this situation when you are trying to blank the end, it's important not to lose your focus and drop a guard. That would be a bit of a disaster. You're better almost just chucking this through the house. And the sweepers are down on this. Well, good sweeping by Saitova and Galkina. Really saving Fomina from any blushes there. Jennifer Jones hits and rolls to the button. So Anna Sidorova just going to make the takeout here. Anna's actually a very strong figure skater before she converted to curling. And she's been not too bad at curling either. Of course, the world bronze medalist from St. John and European champions from a couple of years ago.
Good brushing, guys.
Final stone of the fifth end. It's been a little bit of a non-event, but this is the one that we've been waiting for. And has she got it? She hasn't. Just touches it, but doesn't do enough to remove it. And wow, it's going to be a steal of one. Big mistake there from Anna Sidorova. Just set that out, turn back, and never came back for her. And after 5 ends, following that steal, Canada now leading Russia by 4 shots to 2. So here in the first end, wasn't an easy shot by any stretch of the imagination. And Anna Sidorova with a chance to make a double takeout and catch on the wide one to score 2. Just hits it a shade too thick. A steal of 1 to get the game underway. Russia then scored 1 in the second end and played a very well executed third end to force this tough shot for Jennifer Jones. Trying to raise her tight red guard into the forefoot to score. Pummeled it all the way down. And following a measure, it would be good enough to only concede 1. And Russia leading by 2 shots to 1 after that. And Jennifer Jones with her first on draws into the forefoot.
Let it work if you can, but line's good.
And just needs to do it one more time after coming up a little bit short with Anna Sidorova's last stone of the end. Nicely done. Canada score 2 in the fourth end, and after 5, it would be Canada 4, Russia 2. Elsewhere on the ice, on sheet A, Sweden now leading Denmark by 5 shots to 2. Started to come strong now, the Olympic silver medalists. Scotland beating Norway by 4 shots to 2, and tied game on sheet C, Japan 2, Finland 2.
halfway is no good, so it doesn't matter what line. But I think that's pretty consistent. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's manageable.
Yeah, it is. We're getting the same times. Like,
Across the whole.
yeah. How are you doing with your what's that? Oh.
Нас конец берем 3 и все.
Точно.
Все нормально.
Давай.
Now let's have a closer look at the first half of this 8th draw. Canada and Russia tied 76%, as you'd probably expect them to be pretty close. It's been a very even game, but just that stolen points section is the one that makes the difference. Russia missing a hit and roll out to blank in the 5th end, and now trail Canada by 4 shots to 2.
Go if you can. It's not moving yet. Line will get there. Go for it.
So 6th end underway, and three shots scored by Canada in the last 2 ends of the first half. Anna Sidorova with a huge miss with her last stone to blank the end. And with a little bit of work to do now, trailing by 2.
Нет, девочки, вообще.
Это же дом. Ближний. Возможно, дом. Это точно дом. Садится, конечно.
Все хорошо.
Really tight, guys.
So if you've just joined us, welcome to the ZEN-NOH World Women's Curling Championship 2015, coming to you live from the Tsukisamu Gymnasium, Sapporo. We're bringing you live coverage of Canada against Russia, and this is Dawn McEwen throwing lead stones for Canada,
Very heavy, Jill.
playing 90% for the game. And I'm Logan Gray, and alongside me, bringing vast amounts of wisdom, Richard Harding.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought she kicked like way left. I think it's a better path. Yeah, maybe.
Richard, what's your assessment of the game so far?
Well, although Russia are trailing by 2 points, I think they've been, for the most part, in the driving seat, and it's a little bit of saving shots by Jennifer Jones that have put Canada in front, and of course that miss. But this Canadian team are well known for grinding their way through to victories.
I think actually the nose is better, or even that. Right on the nose.
9.5.
And Jennifer Jones knows how to arrange the play so that it's in the house, and with a 2-shot advantage, she'll be quite happy to try to make sure the rest of this game is played in the house and not in front of the house.
Nice shot, Julie.
That way she can control proceedings. The Russians, of course, with the
За это все дело.
free guard zone rule pertaining, get the chance to try and establish some cover in the early part of an end and use it to their advantage. But in this end, at least, end number 6, the play is pretty much at the front of the house, and that suits Jennifer Jones pretty well. So Saitova, who's played such great shots round the guards, having another go here. And she makes it again. Just a fraction firm that lies behind the tee line. But they had to sweep that hard to get it past the Canadian counter on the top 12-foot circle there. So Jones happy to follow this in. And if she accomplishes this successfully, then Canada will lie the first shot. The sweeper's immediately onto this. And I mentioned earlier how the sheet looks as if it's gripping the stones a bit more than you would normally find. Well, nicely played by Jill Officer, right onto the side of the Russian stone. Canada now in the 4-foot circle behind the guard. You can just see how much curl there is on these stones at the finish. They curl a huge amount, almost going sideways. So Saitova again asked to play the same shot and just follow in the one immediately played before by Jill Officer. And Saitova has her eye in. She's made every draw around the guards that she's been asked to make. This one's a bit wider, I think.
It's coming down now though, Richard. Supers just really need to be on their toes in this evening. The stone's really sitting up when they hit the house.
Oh, that's another fantastic shot. Very accurately played.
Yeah, and well judged as well. Sheet C, here's Ayumi Ogasawara, the Japanese skipper. Tied game, 2 shots each. And a huge game really for Japan if they could ever win this one. Really making a good run for the playoffs, and how good would that be for the home crowd to see Japan competing against the world's best in the playoffs. And is it good enough? Oh, maybe not quite. That's just drifted past that yellow stone of Finland. And at half-time, it's a 1-shot game there. Finland leading Japan by 3 shots to 2.
Meanwhile, back here on sheet D, Russia still lying with these 2 stones locked together. They lie first shot, and now having a go at guarding it. Just need to, yeah, I was going to say they just need to be careful here, because if they guard very effectively, Canada might be quite happy to give them a point, not bother trying to gain 2 themselves or blank the end. What they don't want to happen, of course, is for Russia to score 2 points or more. Well, what about that shot?
I'm not sure that is exactly what was called, Richard, but it's not actually worked out too badly at all. So I think they were trying to come around that red stone at the front of the rings to lie second or third shot, and it's just run a little bit wide and straight on them. But you see the 2 yellow stones lined up perfectly onto the back red. So Caitlin Law is playing 70%. She'll only be able to move this top yellow, really.
Well, she certainly played the high side of it.
Yeah, expect to see the back red go as well here. Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm very surprised at that. Hits it a little bit wider than they planned. Gets a huge reverse kick and gets that middle stone spinning and right out of the house.
Can have a look from the overhead at this. Watch that second yellow counter. Certainly spinning. And will it go out? Well, it does, just so. She plays a great takeout, although the brushes were off it immediately as it was wider than they wanted. Mission accomplished, however.
Oh, quite fascinated by that shot there, Richard. That one looked like it was locking all day, and just shows you the power of reverse kick. The stones lined up perfectly, and due to hitting such a thin angle in the first one, it redirected the middle one, and they managed to squeeze it right out of the rings there.
All the more surprising when the ice is quite holding. Difficult to get the movement on the stones so that they run out. So chance here for Jennifer Jones just to follow that Russian stone into the back of the house. Ended up somewhat further than Sidorova wanted. And now gives Jennifer Jones the chance to just follow it down. She may have to tap it back an inch or two to lie first and second shot. And in this game, Jennifer Jones shooting 80%. Better than her average throughout the week so far.
Yeah, and I think we'll see better than our opposite number as well in this game. Although we do say all the positions are extremely important in the modern game, the skip, there's no doubt that you need your skip to be firing if you want to win at the top level, and if your skip is outplaying their opposite number, then you're a long way on the path to beating your opposition.
So Jennifer Jones just locking a corner freeze onto that Russian stone. And as we saw from the overhead, the Russian counter is lying second shot. That front stone of Canada's is only the third shot. And now Sidorova with her first stone here and then number 6. Just following Jones to freeze onto it.
Well, there you see Anna Sidorova only playing 60% against Jennifer Jones's 80. Anna Sidorova is definitely going to have to raise that number if Russia want to have a realistic chance of winning this game.
Well, that stone just edging off the side, a fraction too heavy by Sidorova. Just edging off the side of the Canadian stone. And I think in the process it tapped the yellow stone at the back of the 3 there, just far enough to leave it lying fourth shot, where prior to that it was out counting the front red. So all useful for Canada. And here Jones just going to take this yellow stone of Russia's out. She won't mind too much where her shooter goes, because Russia are going to be forced to take one after this.
No, absolutely, but I don't think they want to hit on the nose here. They want to spread their red stones out and not leave a pocket for Russia to draw against, not one that's any bigger than it has to be anyway. Well, it does hit on the nose. You see it just a little bit higher than the other red, so an accurate draw required here from Anna Sidorova, facing 3 red Canadian counters.
Forcing the same.
Как Сашка. Так же. Ну что там, едет? Зеро?
Ну да, Сашка
Сейчас
было
вот у тебя-
8, это был зайти, соответственно, сейчас у тебя был 92, меня толкнул 0,05, да?
0,5, 1, да? 5, да.
So last stone here in N6, and Russia will play it under the skip. Anna Sidorova. And she has the red stone to rest against. Important, if she's going to have that kind of weight, important to be online. But it's going to be swept all the way to count first shot. She makes it for the single point. And with that stone from Sidorova, she tightens the score to 4-3. But the last stone advantage goes back to Canada, going into N7.
Seventh end here, Kate Galkina to play. And will be a center guard required here. Expect to see Russia push quite hard to force Canada to score one at the very worst. A steal would be quite nice as well. So Sweden in this position earlier in the week really play quite defensive and got themselves into a bit of trouble later on in the game, really.
Line's good. You have lots of line. No room. Definitely room. Get off. It's got 0 line, Caitlin. Wide open, guys. Wide open. I don't want it deep, guys. Just anywhere. Well, anywhere in the house is too deep.
And you can hear Jennifer Jones saying anywhere in the house.
Yeah, and they managed to keep it in front of the tee line.
It's important, I think, for Canada to make sure they keep their stones in front of the tee line so that the Russians can't just follow them in and lie shot.
Yeah, absolutely, Richard. With that stone being in front of the tee line, Russia have to move it to lie in shot position rather than resting against it. And Katie Kalkina going for the hit and roll. Just pokes its nose out the other side of the guard.
Pretty good shot, though.
Well, it is a pretty good shot, Richard, but I would like to see them be aggressive in this end, and takeouts are obviously quite defensive shots, so we'll see how it pans out, though.
It'll run and curl up, but yeah.
I think you would generally see in the men's game that a team in Russia's position would really push hard to try and make sure there was a score in this end.
Don McEwen
Very nice.
making that shot, rolling just into the open.
So here is Lena Nielsen, the Danish skip, on sheet A, trailing at Sweden by 3 shots, not having much luck this week at all, getting off to 3 consecutive losses to kick things off. And how does this one look? It's just a draw for 1, needs to get to the forefoot, and does so successfully, and it's 1 red and a point for Denmark. And after 6 ends, it's Sweden 5, Denmark 3 there.
On Dawn's side. Cross the face.
So again, Russia getting partly covered by the guard, and Jennifer Jones trying to get Jewel Officer to make the raise. She just misses, runs her
Nice shot.
played stone across to the other side of the house and exposes the Russian counter.
Nice shot.
But now a chance for Saitova to put a guard on the front here.
Yeah, and again, it was a good hit and roll there by Alexandra Saitova, forcing the miss and giving Russia the upper hand here in the 7th. Well, this is a bit longer than I would have planned. I think we'll see Canada go after the one in the house here, just with a quiet wait.
Yeah, I guess you gotta, yeah.
Just enough to tap it through.
Well, with the amount of curl on the stones, it's certainly possible to pass the front stone and tap that one through, as you suggested.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that great distance between the guard and the stone, there is obviously that little bit more time for the stone to break and curl and get in behind. So should be relatively straightforward, although the guard is perfectly in line. Oh, and just shaves the guard, just clicks it and runs through. And now Russia in a much more favourable position than they were.
Well, the guard certainly served its purpose, Logan. There's always a danger for Jewel Officer. Once the stone comes off the centre line, it starts to curl quite vigorously. This one's very wide, passing the Russian guard. Needs to curl and stop. Well, not bad. Go back again to Japan against Finland. Stones everywhere in this 6th end on sheet C. Ogasawara trying to draw. for a second shot, but it's curled too far, and the result is only 1-2 Japan. That ties the game up at 3-3 after 6 ends.
Thanks. Good brushing. Good sweeping. Yeah. I wasn't going to be wide there because we couldn't.
There we see the take out from Canada. So 4-3 for Canada, and they do have last stone here in the 7th. Once again, Russia a little bit heavy. Fumina a little bit heavy with that shot right to the back of the house. Lies first shot, but only just. And with these short stones lying around there, it's definitely an opportunity for the Russians. But they have to make their shots better than that last one if they're going to get the chance to steal a point. Canada with the last stone. So Caitlin Laws. Really needed to brush this one. Good looking line. Just short of the tee line will be nicely played. Well, she succeeds perfectly, lies in the 4-foot circle. So Fumina now giving ice for Sidorova to follow that in and just tap it into second shot position or corner freeze by Russia. So this calls for considerable accuracy.
Yeah, that really was a fabulous shot there by Caitlin Laws. And here's our first look at our hog-to-hog split timer this evening. I said earlier about the amount of rotation making the stones run a bit straighter, and Russia just a little bit wide with this one and perhaps a little bit heavy, but lying in shot position, and Canada will have to take care of that stone.
I'd rather just get it out, and I don't want to roll there, so maybe bumper's better. Just a nice bump. Back to bump.
Got it.
Back to bump. Okay. I thought you were tight, Jill. Would you agree?
So Jennifer Jones just looking to tap this one back and roll her shooter across to lie 2. And she'll be looking to pick up 2 shots here and get a little further ahead of Russia than just 1 point at the moment.
Well, I don't think there's anything too fancy going on here. Priority here for Jennifer Jones is just to get that shot stone out of there. They've got a good one in there in front of the tee line.
Well, this is curling a long way. Is she going to get past her own stone? Yes, not by much.
And sticks around to lie 2 as well. Perfect shot there by the Canadian skip.
Nice shot.
So this is the risk you kind of take in the 7th end when you're pushing hard to try and get the force,
Yeah, 10-8.
you're going to have to take some risk, and you may well end up giving up 2.
Through it is very hard to know, but it really moved. Yeah. Every time I've had a hair or a piece of dirt. Every time.
I know, I've seen you do this like a lot. Yeah. Every time.
Hard, John, hard!
That's good. Nice shot. Добра. Да. Очень сложно привести. Только один вариант. Через сбоку.
Ну да, и не факт, что он будет ближе, чем этот.
Да.
Или пытаться сделать вот так.
So having a long, hard think about what to do here.
Yeah, they're in a pretty horrible spot here, Richard. They've got a couple of options. They could just hit that back one and give up 2. They could try and freeze that one somehow, but I think the positioning of the guards makes that really difficult. And it would be wide open to be peeled out anyway. So, and the other one is that they could kind of corner freeze the one in front of the tee line, but very, very difficult to get into a shot position that's not easy to remove. And that's what Anna Sidorova was looking at the moment. If she could just sit her stone kind of quarter in front of that red stone in front of the tee line, then that would be a pretty good result. But you do end up bringing a potential score of 3 into the equation by not playing a takeout.
Well, 3 shots for Canada would take the game to 7-3, and it'd be tough to come back from that, although she's facing possibly 2. I think the shot I like is the one to hit the back red and hope to roll across. Don't know whether you can roll across and still lie first shot with a partially covered. I think you can actually just roll into the back quarter, left quarter as we look at it, and lie partly guarded by these stones on the left as we look at them. We know that the stone curls like mad there, because the last one did for Jennifer Jones. She made the shot, of course, but it does swing a long way. Well, I think that's what she's trying to do. What she doesn't want to do is give up 3 points. That's very important at this stage of the proceedings. My goodness, she nearly caught the guard there. Well, Russia will lie first shot.
Yeah, it takes a safe option there, really, but looks like it's going to be a score of 2 for Canada. You would expect Jennifer Jones to making this one 9.5 times out of 10, if not more.
Big point, you guys. Let's make this.
Well, she knows the importance of this shot as well. You open up a 3-shot lead with 3 ends to go. There's not a lot of time for Russia to turn that around.
No. Clean.
Well,
Yep. Clean.
she certainly thought she was a little bit wide letting that one go, but
Can't hurt it.
looks on target.
Okay, so done.
And it is on target with that takeout. Jennifer Jones will pick up her 2 shots. And that takes Canada to a 6-3 advantage after 7 ends.
Good brushing. Nice to you guys.
Canada leading Russia by 6 shots to 3. We're bringing live coverage of draw 8 of the ZEN-NOH World Women's Curling Championship 2015, live from the Sukisamu Gymnasium in Sapporo, Japan. Don McEwen slips down onto the tee line, and Russia with a bit of work to do now, Richard.
Yes, there's just some loose shots from Sidorova that's costing them, I think. Some of the play from the front end's been really good by Russia, but Anna Sidorova just not finishing very effectively. And if you're going to play like that, this is not the team you want as your opposition.
No, absolutely not. The Olympic champions, of course. This Canadian team came through a tough field at the Scotty Tournaments of Hearts to be here as well. Beating Alberta's Val Sweeting in the final in Moose Jaw.
Line will get there if you got good weight. Looks heavy. Looks all
Moose
there.
Jaw, Saskatchewan.
Don't even look at it. Needs to sit down. We're staggered.
Is there
right now.
another Moose Jaw?
Needs to sit.
No, just placing it for you, Logan. Moose Jaw, have you been there?
No, I have not, and I don't really intend to visit it either. So, Katerina Galkina, the better of the two leads, actually. Having a very consistent game. 91%, plays 82. Don McEwen, 100% on hits, but I think she's only played one.
Yeah, sometimes the draw and hit percentages can be a little bit misleading in the game when they've only played one shot and maybe only made half a shot, so it gives you a bit of a skewed statistic.
Well, the free guard zone rule now over as we come to the second stones, and Canada are going to take full advantage of that and try and start peeling these corner guards off. She's not been too hot on the peels so far this week, Jill Officer, but gets the job done on that one.
And there's the statistics for her. 100% for draws. Saitova, 79%. She's played a lot of draws, mind you. Don't actually remember her missing one, but she must have done to have been not higher on the percentage. So the corner guard being replaced. Just running on here. Stops though to give Russia the two corner guards once again.
Sheet C, Japan and Finland. We've seen a few shots from this game. Sanna Pustinen, of course, played that ridiculous pinball shot earlier in the end. It was very fortuitous to not give up a steal of 3, and here she is in the 7th end. Tied game. And really just drawing to score 2. Or drawing against 2, sorry. And doesn't find the curl. Maybe just a little bit hot for speed, and it's going to be a steal of 2 for Japan. And after 7 ends, Japan leading Finland by 5 shots to 3.
Well, sweeping hard to try to get the stone to get round the corner guard. Not really quite successful enough at that, giving Jones a chance for a take out.
Here. Yeah, I like that. I'll be. You know what? Like throw here.
here, Caitlin, so at least if we hit this, we kick it a little bit.
Okay.
9.5's the verdict.
So you heard it the same as we did, what she's trying to do here. Trying to bounce the red stone over to the left as she looks at it by hitting about half of this yellow Russian shot.
Yeah.
Sweeping for the line, it's curling a long way here. I think she's going to get it on the nose or just off the nose.
Okay, well,
She does, and it rolls into form a little bunch.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they didn't want to do, Richard, is form a little bunch, as you say. Is if you bunch the stones together, then it makes it easier for Russia to put their stones in a position that's more difficult to remove. So, pretty tight matchup at third, though. Both players have had their struggles, really. Caitlin Law's just sneaking it.
75%.
Внимание. Воу. Нет, свип. Свип, да, линия, да, удержать, еще.
Well,
Do we want to know?
Best result is 7-8.
I think Russia would have wanted to leave the result of that shot with more difficulty in removing their stone. Here,
Nose is good.
Jennifer Jones quite happy to hit it on the nose and spring some of her own red stones out of the house as well. She's leading by 3 points and she doesn't need anything sitting in there which the Russians can lock onto.
Okay, yep. Whoa.
spin it. That's good.
Okay,
Good.
sorry.
Caitlin.
Good too.
Если мы сюда, это легко достается. Надо сюда вести приз. Чтобы она, если била, он сюда бы уходил.
Она закроет свой камень.
Böyle renkli.
Что мы можем сделать вот так?
Просто если мы привезем, она закроет.
Я не слышу вообще не слышу.
Она закроет, если мы привезем.
Свип, девочки, очень надо. Свип! Очень! Свип! Свип, держать! Свип, да, свип!
Well, frantic sweeping here.
Just hits a fraction too thick there and spins off the freeze. So Russia in a not great spot here to get a multiple score, and very much looking like they might even be forced to score one. Running out of time and running out of ideas, the Russians.
Yeah, Canada are dictating the game, definitely. And Russia are following. You always want to be the leading team in something like that, where you dictate where the whole game is going to be played. And that role is being played out by Jennifer Jones at the moment. Of course, the Canadians get vastly experienced. This is her 5th visit to the World Women's. Peeling out the Russian stone.
Nice throw, Jen.
Nicely played by Jennifer Jones, leaving her 2 counters just in the front of the 4-foot circle. Just really on the button, and it means that Russia have to move them a little bit if they're going to use them. There's the statistics. Sidorova 63 against Jennifer Jones at 86.
She can't be shot, so unless she does.
Yeah, a bit of a landslide really in favour of the Canadian.
Мы думали, честно, до этого.
But you know what, if we go back to the fifth end, Richard,
Можно сделать хорошо, ну, типа,
the end really panned out as both teams had anticipated. It was only a one-shot game at that point, and Russian skip Anna Sidorova missed a very straightforward takeout to blank the end. And that really changed the whole game in my eyes.
Well, from that point on, Jennifer Jones has dictated the play.
No, it's been a real chase for Russia since then. Canada haven't been tremendously good front runners this week so far. They've had 3 shots of leads on numerous occasions this week and squandered them most times, but doing a far better job in this game of controlling the ends.
Well, we're seeing Sidorova having a go at removing these two.
Well, gets the job done, but perhaps just a little bit floaty again on that out-turn takeout.
You know, I'll throw the out turn right in the middle, really like hard. Yeah.
Well, her shooter stays. And we can hear Jennifer Jones saying hard, so she's going to hit this with some weight. She'll be quite happy to leave her own stone sitting there. Sidorova then will try to blank the end. 1 point's not really a good result for Russia here.
No, it certainly is not. Only 2 ends to come after this, and to not have the hammer, you're going to have to basically steal 3 ends in a row if you want to win the game.
So just trying to hit and stick out on the wing here. And successfully executed by Jennifer Jones. Now Sidorova will be trying to hit and run.
Yeah, just a slight consideration for the Russians here might just be that stone on the back line. They'll need to steer the red shot past the stone and roll out themselves. If they were just to hit it 3/4 stones on the outside, the stone in the house could go onto that back red and then squeeze back into the house to score 1 for Canada. So it's looking for a half stone contact here.
And I'm quite sure Jennifer Jones was well aware of that when she played her last stone there. So Sidorova is hoping to catch half stone on the outside. Well, she did. And the end is blanked by Russia. They will retain the last stone advantage going down the 9th. 2 more ends of regulation play remain. Canada leading Russia 6 shots to 3.
Some interested spectators looking on. Of course, we are inside the Sekisame Gymnasium. There's that roof you were talking about earlier, Richard. Not the best for making curling ice.
Well, the problem is just the variation in the temperatures caused by the roof and the weather outside. At night time it's getting below freezing, -2 or 3, and during the day today it was up about 10 or 11 with the sun shining down, so challenging for the ice makers.
Well, it feels pretty freezing in here to me, Richard.
It's coolish this evening, Logan, there's no doubt about that. So
yeah, we do have the privilege of the fans blowing straight down our neck as well.
cold air in this case. So Canada once again lying in the centre of the house.
Yeah, it's really moving, guys.
Don McEwen just trying to follow the first one down and freeze onto it.
Just full 8. Keep her going. Good spot, Don. Good.
Well, pretty perfect setup there from Don McEwen. Gets them pretty much in line and a few feet apart. And again, Russia will try and throw the double corner guard. It was a good 8th end from Canada. They don't need to really score any more points in this game. It's just all about putting another end in the books and really running the Russian side out of time to recover this 3-shot deficit that they face.
So 4 stones safely played means that Jennifer Jones can try and run the guards out of play.
Clean. Easy. 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 Just clean it. Good. Good.
Just threw it, I knew it would.
And we can just reflect that the Russians so far have played USA, Norway, Denmark and Sweden.
Threw it like they back up. Like.
And Sweden would normally be tough opposition for them, but when they met, the Russians were dominant throughout the game. And the other 3 countries are probably not as competent here as some of the remaining opposition that Russia has to meet. 12 teams play the other 11 in the round robin before we get to the playoff stages. Which start on Friday.
Clean it. You're good. Yeah, sorry, I was saying good shot.
Yeah, it's still a long way to go in the round robin, Richard, but we're starting to see the picture develop. And Scotland, they're really needing their picture to develop, and they're doing a good job of that today. Had a bit of a slow start this week, dropping a couple of games, but having a good day at the office and looking good for picking up their 2nd win of the day. Look at this one from Eve Muirhead. Squeezes that red far enough to put another deuce on the board, and they take a 4-shot lead over the winless Norway after 8 ends. Scotland 8, Norway 4.
Well, how many times have we seen Saitova scraping past the guard and finishing up behind them in this game? She's played that shot magnificently all the way through.
Gets a piece, but moves one in the house. Not too much harm done there.
No, a little fortunate with that. But the play is in the house, and that suits Jennifer Jones. The guards are gone for the moment.
Yeah, nothing really to hide behind, so Russia are going to have to try and freeze them or freeze their way to a multiple score here in the 9th end.
And I think that's much tougher than getting round behind the guards.
Well, this is an excellent effort. Look at that, locks it right on there. So I think, yeah, Canada aren't going to be too interested in that stone for the time being. They will be starting to think about how they can get rid of it later on. But I'm pretty sure we'll see you go after the open yellow here and get rid of that one before they start going after the second shot.
Yeah. Mind that. We just have to make sure. We just have to touch this. We have to move these because if not, they freeze again. Is it dumb to do that? I guess it leaves that one there. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I kind of like this. You just threw it, half rock, even 3/4.
Yeah, just move them off.
Back to Japan, Finland.
Okay. Half rock.
Okay.
Yep.
And Sanna Pustin in the Finnish skip in the hack. Of course, this Finnish side had a terrific performance at the European Championships in Champéry in Switzerland in December, securing 6th position to qualify for the World Championships. And going for a bit of a circus shot off the wide yellow here. Can she get in there to score 3? Oh, just hits it a shade too thin. Doesn't get onto that back red, but still a score of 2. And ties the game up after 8 ends there. So that one could still go either way here. Oh, this is a clever shot here from the Canadians. Kills that wide yellow and changes the angles in the 4-foot circle. Perhaps a little bit unfortunate to put their 2 red stones side by side and leave a nest for Russia to freeze in. Well, they would have almost been better coming across here and going straight onto their own red stone, but you just rubbed that top yellow. Still a good shot all the same though from Caitlin Laws.
Well, Russians sweeping furiously to try and get this shot into the house. It's in the house, but it's not doing too much damage if you're Canadian.
Worst case, though, make that double.
Yep. 7/8 make clip it.
This is where I threw that hit for 2.
Yep.
Kind of ran nice.
It did. Yeah, it just
There
came
for
out.
10. We didn't really sweep it, so I think
Yeah, just
that
kind of came
should
up
be close.
gradually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it. I'll sweep the house.
Okay. Hit and roll in front would be awesome. Pardon me? Okay. Hit and roll in front would be great. Okay. 10.
So Jennifer Jones then finally going to play this controlled weight take out on the Russian stone.
Right off.
Certainly not tight in line.
Yep, spin it up. Yep, yep.
Well, great shot.
Yeah, Russia now lying 4 against. Did manage to find a freeze with their last one, but certainly not the stone they were planning on freezing. There's another opportunity to make a freeze here. And they may have to take that risk in leaving Canada lying 2 at this point.
Well, there's only 3 stones remaining here in the 9th end. 2 for Sidorova and 1 for Jennifer Jones.
Yeah, Roger Schmidt there, the Russian coach, just trying to get a bit of a closer look down there, see what kind of mess they're in.
Если вот так, это выносится. Конечно. Если это к этому, это значит -2. Соответственно, она ставит гард, и ну, очень сложно будет здесь.
And so is his opposite number.
Прям в самый край попадать. Она ставит гард сюда, и скорее всего вот этот будет открыт. Она все не закроется. Да, отлично. У нас стоит это дальше, хорошо. Это открыт, это +1. Давай сделаем ролл. Ну, ты со мной согласна, нет? Да. Ролл.
Well, I've got to say the body language isn't great from the Russians at the moment. I think they know they've got problems here.
Даже если мы привозим к этому, то она выбивает. Если мы привозим фриз на этот, то это -2, она закроет, и скорее всего ничего мы не сможем сделать. Рита говорит, она закроет типа нам нашу атаку, значит у нас будет этот камень открыт. Я говорю, отлично, у нас все равно -2. Ну, 1 я выбью. Не факт, что я его даже ближе сделала. Чего ты Давай пробьем ролл. Давай пробьем ролл. Он будет ближе? Он будет ближе, если мы попадаем прям вот мало.
И он его отъезжает, да?
Но это, я предполагаю, что так будет.
Ладно, стараемся.
Well, we'll get this stone away eventually, Richard. I think Anna Sidorova is just going for a hit and roll underneath here. Difficult shot to not leave it in a easily removable position for Jennifer Jones.
That's right.
Actually worked out quite nicely. Just pushes that other red over to the side and slides through towards a freeze. It'll all be about how much Jennifer Jones can see from the hack.
Tricky, both of them.
How much do I have of this? Maybe a quarter, if that.
Really?
Look at that, the inside edge is covered, so I don't think
We
they've
heard
got,
drill officer shouting down maybe a quarter, if that. So that's what she thinks can be seen from the hack for the shot that Jennifer Jones is going to be playing. I think she can see more than that looking at the shot from our angle. Of course, we're not right behind.
well, Richard, actually they were talking about the furthest right red, now the furthest left red. They were looking at trying to slash that red onto the Yellowstone binding T-line to remove it. They can see probably 3/4 from the hack, and if they could hit what they see, they would be able to remove it, but the risk always is that they're a little bit wide and they jam it onto the back red. So
My first thought was the freeze, but
Unless they locked it absolutely dead square, they would probably get it moved out sufficiently.
yeah, well, you know what, I think Jennifer Jones could just have a lash at it and just hit the yellow, and if she hits it into the red at enough pace, you would think the spin would still carry it out of the 4 foot anyway, and they would probably lie shot with the stone in front of the tee line. So looks like they're going to go for the freeze though.
I think then she would see enough of that one. Yeah.
Oh, that other one looks so tasty.
I know how you like it. Go, Jen. Go, Jen.
So could play a takeout, could play a draw. Perhaps Jennifer Jones playing to her strengths here and going for the draw. I wouldn't expect her to be too far away with this one.
Well, she's played a few really excellent free shots earlier tonight in the game.
Yeah, we don't really have any idea what we're looking for here with the hog-to-hog split times. The ice has been pretty changeable this evening. But we do know that this has a long way to go. 14.8 is the time that we'd probably be looking for when the ice is fully up to speed.
Well, that's a poor shot from Jennifer Jones.
Just light, eh?
Just light, as she said. That's the one thing she couldn't afford to be really light.
Sorry, just light.
So now Anna Sidorova has a draw for 2.
Yeah, to keep the game alive, really. Certainly can't afford to miss this one and go down the last 2 down without the last stone.
Нет, совсем даже не важно.
13.9, that should be pretty close going by Jennifer Jones' draw anyway.
Well, nice shot from the Russian skip. She will make the 2 that she needs. The score's tightened to 6-5 in favour of Canada. They'll have last stone in the last end and they lead by 1, so they should be able to control the finish of it. But you never know.
Well, we're into the final end here in draw 8 of the World Women's Curling Championship. An early look at 2 of our contenders for that title, Russia and Canada. And if you've just joined us, we're in the final end of regulation time, the 10th end, and we're bringing you live coverage of the ZEN-NOH World Women's Curling Championship 2015 live from the Sukisamu Gymnasium in Sapporo. My name's Logan Gray, and alongside me, Richard Harding. Richard, Canada have been the stronger team today, haven't they?
They have overall, and the big difference has been at skips, I think. That's where the game's been won and lost. In front of the skip, the 2 sides have traded blows fairly evenly, I think, but the difference has been between Sidorova and Jennifer Jones.
Absolutely, but it is only a 1-shot game here. Russia still hanging on to the Canadians' coattails despite those misses from Sidorova. And Russia are going to have to give it their all here and really throw the kitchen sink at Canada to get the steal that they need to extend this game. A nice tick shot by Dawn McEwen with her first one. Can she make 2 in a row? This is a shot that's really practiced a lot by the leads these days, and their success rate is higher than ever. Of course, trying to counteract the free guard zone rule by just chipping the stones off to the side. A bit like that. Keeping the center open so that they can slide one into the rings with their last stone.
And of course, Logan, if that Russian stone had just run a bit further and gone out of play, it would have been replaced where it first started.
Yeah.
But it didn't, and it's sitting there, still useful.
Oh, absolutely, and there is a science surely to stopping that happening, and they're just throwing them a nice gentle kind of soft hack weight and just bumping them around. If they were throwing them at a heavy takeaway, they would have to be drastically more accurate to get the desired result.
And another nice shot from Saitova. Just passing that guard by almost nothing.
Well, it is, Richard, but it's not on the centre line and not really in a threatening position to Canada.
No, certainly needed to be further into the house.
Yeah, I think we would have seen a lot of teams persevere with throwing a centre guard before going in, even just to run the Canadians down for a few shots. Although, mistake here from Jill Officer actually makes the situation worse for Canada in rolling a guard closer to the centre line. And that is a better stone for the Russians to now hide behind. Well, this looks like another super draw from Alexandra Saitova. Perfect spot, really. Touching the 1 foot circle, and that is a stone that's in a more threatening position to Canada now, following that miss from Jill Officer with the peel. Again, it's on that into out peel on corner guards. We've seen Jill Officer struggling on that line all week long, and that one no different.
That's right. Oh, well, she's moved plenty of granite with that one.
Yeah, it was a clever shot actually, and rolling across, peeling the guard, rolling across to remove the other stone in the wing. But it's the stone in the on the tee line that they're going to have to move, really. Sheet C, here's Ayumi Ogasawara throwing her final stone of the 9th end. And potentially a multiple score on the cards. Oh, and look at that. How many is it? She actually removed her shot stone there, over curled, and then went on to the second shot that she was trying to remove in the first place. And after all the stones had settled, it was a score of 3. And Japan now leading Finland by 8 shots to 5, and looking good for picking up their 4th win in their first 5 games. The home nation making a charge for the playoffs. Back to sheet D in our featured game. Caitlin Laws goes for the run and misses by the smallest of margins. And that shot stone remains intact. Frustration.
So Russia happy just to guard this stone, which is fully in the 4-foot circle, just biting the 1 foot. Nice shot from Margarita Fomina. And Sweden have notched up their second win against Denmark, 7 shots to 5.
Yeah, and Sweden will be back on the ice tomorrow morning against China, so that could be quite a big game. China currently on 3 wins. If Sweden could join them, that would put them right back in the hunt for the playoffs. So Russia really just guarding this shot stone for their lives now, really. Just going to keep throwing the centre guard, and Canada will keep trying to peel it and open it up. And then when they get a suitable chance, they'll probably move that stone in the button.
Well, not too many stones to go. We're now on Skip's stones, so 4 shots remaining. And crucially, Canada have the last stone advantage, and they do lead 6 shots to 5. So Sidorova just trying to replace the guard.
Well, I would say it doesn't need to be perfectly in line with the guard, but it does need to be on the centre line side of it. And this one just running on a little bit, a bit closer to the shot stone than they might have liked. And the timeout sign is called by Caitlin Laws, and Wendy Morgan will make her way down from the coach's bench to consult with her team.
I just hate rolling to center.
We just hit and roll. Do you think she's coming in front?
Yeah, she might. Do you guys like taking a run at it or just peeling? She's pretty good. You can't. You gotta go.
This way.
Let's offset this way.
Does it just leave us center so she can get more of the button?
Yeah. If I make it, then at least I have a run and not have to stick it. Just, I don't think we'll be very aggressive with it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Got it.
Well, the coach didn't have much to say there, Richard.
Right there.
You know what, Jennifer Jones knows what she's doing herself. So 2 options. She could just straight peel that top stone. Anna Sidorova's one saving grace here is that she's got the line absolutely spot on between the 2 yellow stones, and any double takeout played by Jennifer Jones would inevitably leave a centre guard probably on the centre line, and Anna Sidorova could then come around and maybe even make a better shot stone with her next one. So that was the dilemma there.
And she needs to be careful. Jennifer Jones needs to be careful she doesn't lock the first yellow onto the second and leave it guarded by her shooter. That's important not to do that, or she'll face more trouble with her last stone of the end.
Yeah, she's thrown some good ones today though with the takeouts. 89% on 11 hits.
Sorry.
And, oh, she's hit this on the wrong side here. Well, that was wild by Jennifer's standards.
Sorry.
Same again really for Sidorova. May just choose to go into the house once again here. Something half in the front ring would be perfect. Just struggle to get that one back to target. So even just a little bit closer to the centre line in this one, same depth, leaving the nose of the stone hanging out the front of the house would be ideal. Sidorova, 75% on 8 draws here, and this one needs to be absolutely perfect. Shouldn't take a huge amount of ice there, and if it's going to over curl, they will want to put it in the house. I don't know how many timeouts Jennifer Jones thinks she's going to get, but she's only entitled to one.
She's just had it.
Yeah, and she just had it. So maybe they've got really short memories in Canada, but they're not getting another one. I can tell you that for free. Well, it's done enough, though, to force Jennifer Jones to play the draw. I thought it just curled enough.
Well, the coach was on her way down for the timeout. But no.
Yeah, I think she's going to be turned around at the door, though, and sent back.
I know, it's fine. I'll have lots of time.
So Jennifer Jones then
Just changed it back.
just going for the dead draw to the button, really.
Speed looks pretty good here, hey?
Well, only 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining for Jennifer Jones to get this one away, but of course we're using thinking time these days. And we don't include the running time of the stone, but certainly not a factor on this occasion. So final stone of the 10th and final end of regulation time. And Jennifer Jones needing a piece of the 1 foot to take this one down against Russia.
And this is slowing up. Has she got enough weight to get to the 1 foot circle? It's all on the sweepers now. Is she going to?
That's about the line now.
She is.
Great sweep in there by Officer Anne McEwen. And a big win there for Canada, moving to 4 wins and handing Russia their first loss. Final score, Canada 7, Russia 5.
Hi, Isabella. I miss you.
Morning, Canada.
Everybody, hi, Dad. Hi, Cameron.
Your best, guys. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, nice one.
I wanted to see for weight, though, pretty much.
Yeah, but
Anyways.
So Jennifer Jones and her team
no problem.
chalk up another win, and an important one against Russia by 7 shots to 5. And the last remaining game on the ice is that between Japan and Finland. 4 stones remaining, and Japan are leading 8 shots to 5. And we can see Okasawara going to play her first skip stone in this 10th end. Well, furious sweeping here. Well, she clears the guard. Which was the aim of that shot. And Sanna Puustinen will now has to play her shot into the house. Japan leading Finland 8 shots to 5. This shot has to be in the house if it's to have any chance of counting for Finland.
Sori, oli pakko laittaa lisää.
Not the line she wanted. Was hoping to freeze the two together in the back ring. And that one just not curling quite enough, leaving a bigger target for Ogasawara to hit. All she needs to do is hit one of these out, and the game will be won by Japan. Well, that shot from Skip Ogasawara seals the game for Japan. And they will win 8-5 over Finland. And in the seventh end, Jennifer Jones leading 4-3 with this takeout.
Yep. Can't hurt it. Nice throw, Jen.
She will score 2 points and go ahead 6-3. On to the ninth, and a chance here for Russia to pick up 2. Anna Sidorova with her last stone draw. Needing to sweep all the way, and she will just outcount Canada and lie on the button, gaining the 2 points for a 6-5 game going down the last end. And Sidorova forcing Jennifer Jones in the final end to draw fully, to bite the 1 foot circle in the middle there, which she does, to win the game 7-5 for Canada. An important win indeed for the Canadians over the Russian team, who at that point had won all their games. So in other play tonight on Sheet A, Sweden defeated Denmark 7-5. Scotland edged past Norway 8-7. It was 8-4 at one point. And Japan winning against Finland 8-5. And the standings then after 8 rounds, 4 teams share a 4-1 advantage. Canada, Russia, Switzerland, Japan. China and Germany are both on 3 wins and 2 defeats. And Scotland also count 3 and 2. Finland and Sweden on 2 and 3. Denmark on 1 and 4. And Norway and the United States yet to win a game after 5 rounds of play.
Jennifer, congratulations. What was your assessment of today's performance?
I was quite happy with how we played. We finally kind of put 2 games back to back where I thought we played well, made some big shots, made some big draws, which was great, and it was a big win for us today, so we're pretty happy with that.
We expect yourselves and Russia to probably be in the playoffs at the end of the week. As the first time meeting, is there any added importance to that game as opposed to some of the other ones?
No, they're all important. I mean, I hope we're in the playoffs, but there's a lot of games left. So, you know, a win is a win, and we just want to get as many as we can and try to find our way into the playoffs.
Canada have never won the World Women's Curling Championship outside of Canada. Do you think this could be the week?
I don't know. I hope so. We'll see what we can do, but we love Japan. We actually feel very much at home here. We've made a lot of great friends over the last couple trips we've made over, and we just absolutely love coming here.
Great. Thanks for your time. Skip, Jennifer Jones from Canada defeating Russia by a final score of 7-5 and securing their 4th win of the week. From myself, Logan Gray and Richard Harding, thanks for watching and join us for more coverage from Sapporo tomorrow.